what up everybody? Okay, today I'm gonna be embarrassing another Reddit moron. Let me show you the horror I witnessed from my fans showing me stuff. This person's created this build. I have no idea what the fuck he thinks he's doing, but despite only having one reforge on the repeater, he's got Torgadoro's arm, the Thrax body, no legendary weapon. He's barely power surge anything, and he wants to make builds. Okay. He's somehow also got +6 Berserker in Discipline, which means he got carried in Trials, because you can't get Discipline without 2 weeks worth of Trials unless he had the old Discipline cell, so he could be a returning player. But even if he's a returning player, he should be out of practice. So I don't know how this account was possible, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And he's got +6 Berserker, +6 Tenacious, +5 Catalyst, +5 Cunning, +5 Predator, and +4 Overpower. Basically, he has in Power Surge most of his stuff since he's using all purple cells. Okay, he also further... Now, his name is UndeadPenis. If you're taking build advice from a guy named UndeadPenis, I'm worried about you. He says, if you need help making builds, I got you, because this Babushka Bear says it's better than his. Okay, Babushka Bear, you should find my channel. But, yeah, overall, this is just further proof that Reddit doesn't know what they're doing. I'm actually going to show you. I've replicated this build right here. Alright, I've replicated his entire build. Okay, now I had to use some green and blue cells, because... that was the only way to get the perks the same, but +6 Berserker, +6 Catalyst, +6 Tenacious, +5 Cunning, +5 Predator, +4 Overpower. Basically it is horribly trashed here, but whatever. Let's show this in action. Like I said, if you want, we'll fight till it gets to about 25,000 damage, and I'll show you the overall DPS of this build. This just accounts for any errors, things like that. But overall, if you're gonna take advice from Reddit, you know, it's pretty bad. Yeah, we're looking at roughly, now there's a lot of variance here because of possible crits, but you're looking at about 1.6k DPS on average. Okay, on average you're looking at about 1.6k. Now let's shift over to an easy build. Now I challenged myself with this one. I said, okay, let's beat this with an easy build. So unfortunately I had a power slot left over, so it isn't a fully easy build. It has one Berserker cell. But other than that, we've got +6 Cunning, +6 Predator, +6 Tenacious, +6 Tough, Assassin's Frenzy, and Berserker. We're using Tempest as our Omni Cell instead, so it's more beginner friendly. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, now to account for crits, we will obviously go up to the same 25,000. We'll go a bit beyond just to get an accurate measure, because as you can see, there's a lot of variance here. So we're looking at about 2.19. Alright, 2.19k DPS per second, accounting for some variance of crits. It'll be between 2.15 and up to 2.2k. So when you test that, when you weigh 2.2k versus the 1.6k, which we saw earlier, well, accounting for variance, it could go up to 1.65. You can see that despite this build that I've just shown you being an easy build, we're actually outputting about 400 more DPS on average per second. This is why, please, dear Lord, and that is with 2 defensive cells in the build. So this is why, please, dear Lord, utilize Asian robot builds. Please use the easy Asian robot builds that I've prepared for you, because not only do they enhance survival, they actually enhance the damage as well. Let me explain why this build works better, okay? First of all, Tempest is fantastic. Ever since Discipline was slightly nerfed, now it was slightly nerfed in the past, it went down from 10% crit rate and 10% crit damage down to 8% crit rate, 8% crit damage. A lot of and less extra crit damage per stack of Discipline. A lot of people think this didn't affect the build much. It really did. It actually allowed Tempest to come to the fore, because the 10% attack speed boosted everything overall. It just makes you fight faster, so you deal damage 10% faster after taking into account all perks. This is why even though this build has Cunning in it, it's still dishing out huge damage. Alright, the Cunning is just as an additional buff, because we don't really have any other cells to use, but we've foregone the Lantern cells to imitate the same effect of Catalyst not being used, because Catalyst makes bad builds look good. By utilizing potions in Hunting Grounds especially, you basically have to guzzle potions on every shot, but you know, if you don't do that, as you can see, your DPS is a lot lower. You get what I mean? Now, people are often use discipline because it'll help to interrupt behemoths on the repeaters. I choose to use Tempest because basically when you dodge, you get an extra attack. And most of the time with the repeaters, you should not worry about interrupting. Hence why overpower is not really necessary. Overpower is often utilized in these builds for trial purposes, where you know the behemoth pattern. That's where overpower comes in. And that's why a lot of trial specialists use overpower. In fact, the build that he was doing is actually an imitation of a flawless build often used for the Pangar trial. This is actually the Pangar trial build, except that instead of Tenacious, they would have Pulse to chain with the UE of the Inferno's Roar. In this case, that did not happen for some god-awful reason, and instead Tenacious was introduced into the system, which was just awful. My build works better again because Tenacious actually should always be paired with Tough. Toughness would increase the damage of Tenacious by an additional 10%. It also helps to soften the blow of Berserker. Now, going +6 Berserker is great, but +3 Berserker gives you 20% damage. The extra +6 takes away more max health and only gives you another 15% increase. Now, you could, if you wanted to go extra ham, how much would you lose from the +3 Tenacious? If you were to take away the +3 Tenacious, now with this build, you've got 1,400 hit points. You'd actually be losing 14% DPS and gaining 15% by taking Berserker up to +6. You see, this is why it's not worth it substituting the Tenacious for Berserker. You're getting about the same increase, about 0.5% less. And of course, if you take damage, it's going to go lower. But that's why the Koshai Lantern is in this build. This will actually help you lifesteal everything back. 15% lifesteal boosted by 50% increased healing from all sources. 50, an extra, okay, multiply 15% by 1.5 times. Do you know how much that is? That is an additional 7.5%, which totals 22.5% lifesteal. If you cannot get back to full health with that, you've got an aiming issue. So Tough, Tenacious Predator, and +3 Berserker actually creates a better combination. That's why even though this build has Cunning in it, you're still outputting more DPS overall. And if we wanted to look at a true endgame version of his same build, you'd get some results that look like this. Okay, so for a true endgame version of his build, the DPS, like I made the endgame version using Pulse and whatnot, so that everything stacks together nicely. But the true endgame version does up to about roughly 2.2, 2.3k. It's not actually that much more than the easy build that I constructed, and that's because of Discipline's nerf, and that's why some of the repeated builds that you've seen me construct have a very different vibe and use a different UE. We don't rely on the Hellion, and we certainly don't rely on the Overpower. Instead, you would have noticed that my endgame Charog build does far more DPS. So it's up to you if you want to follow people like UndeadPenis on Reddit. You know, I mean, a guy with a name like that, that's just terrifying. But you know, I highly suggest that you actually like think about what these people want from you. The reason why they put out these builds is for attention, and also because they want you to like rely on them. They want people to run with them and think that they're great. They're basically feeding for fame, which a lot of people do. They don't care about you, nor do they care about what kind of hunts you have. They want you to have bad hunts so that you rely on them. I don't do that because I love money. Y'all know this. I'm also blunt as fuck and will scold you to your face. I don't tolerate any disrespect. But I'm also the most honest creator here because I'm not going to tell you something that doesn't work, alright? So think about it carefully. Up to you. You can do your own testing. Okay, I've shown everything here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And Dauntless Reddit people, please be embarrassed of yourself. Just stop putting out builds because you're doing nothing but you're making the game go down even faster. Because Slayers try your terrible builds, they come to me anyway. Okay? Good luck. Like, share, and subscribe if you like my content. And of course, if you want to see more, you want to see me do more things more often, consider becoming a channel member. You can send super thanks on YouTube. You can send a tip via link in the description of the video. And right now, and starting next week, we're also going to give top tippers a shout out on stream. But right now, I want to give a shout out to our top channel members. We've got Death Dawning 982 at Plus Ultra, We've got Miss Eve at Prestige, Stephen Martin at Prestige, Jerry Fast at Prestige, Joshua Moritz, Rogue Assassin, Old Mr. Crump, Cream Puff, Zach NFG, all Prestige. Thank you guys so much. Our honored robots as well. We got to thank them. Here's Marion Whiffling, Jacob Gabrick, Jammer Boy, Turtle Dove, Bob John, Nate the Great, Curtis Schussler, MjRiffle, Shadow, Corey Ryu, Benjamin Savage, Lady Neo, Anarchy Inc., Greasy Burger, Stephen Geyer, Killatine Gaming, Coda CMF. Thank you guys so much. The honored Prestige members. They're all the ones making this possible. And thank you to our cool bots as well for also sustaining us. You guys are amazing. I'll see you guys on the next video, okay? Y'all have fun. And, well, go to the Dauntless Reddit if you want to be a moron, alright?